Welcome back everyone to AGB Cars. Aaron here again, and today we're going to be looking at the third day of pre-season testing at Barcelona, going over the times, the laps and what happened on track. So a few things before we start with the actual action. There were two red flags on the third day, one of which was caused by Sebastian Vettel, who beached his Ferrari in the gravel trap about 2 minutes in to the session this morning. So not a great start, but then it was recovered and he continued on his way. And then a bit later in the afternoon, the McLaren of Jenson Button and also the Toro Rosso of Max Verstappen simultaneously stopped on track, causing a red flag to be brought out that time as well. Some rain also hit the track today, but it wasn't much to stay for the whole day. It was just a little sprinkling. So so we'll dive into the times now. Pastor Maldonado topped the times in his Lotus, but bear in mind that his lap time was on the super soft tyre, as was Max Verstappen. So that does explain some of the extra performance they seemed to have gained. The Lotus today was working on aero work, but also they were presumably trying to run quite fast, and reliability, of course, with the Mercedes engine, it wouldn't be a huge concern for them. And Romain Grosjean yesterday said that he thinks the team have made huge improvements over the winter over what they had in 2014. Then Max Verstappen is second in his Toro Rosso, also on the super soft tyre. 129 laps, very good mileage, as was Maldonado's. Toro Rosso really one of the highest in the amount of laps completed in pre-season testing. You can see on the far right column there, that's the total amount of laps that the teams have done in all of pre-season testing. So they're second, actually, just behind Mercedes. So certainly good sign for Toro Rosso's reliability, and they also have shown some speed. So all is looking bright there. Then we move down to Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes in third position on a 126 flat, but he was on medium tyres, so that kind of equalises the gap really between them and the Lotus and Toro Rosso. Pretty good mileage today for Mercedes as well, over 100 laps. And Hamilton was back in the car today, with Rosberg taking over action on the final day tomorrow. And also a good time on the medium tyres, obviously not like what we've seen, but then the track conditions were not as favourable as they were for the previous 2 days, so lap times were obviously going to be a bit slower. And Mercedes were also asked on Twitter about why they're not really showing much speed and why they're kind of sandbagging, I suppose, if you would. But they just responded and says the times in pre-season testing don't mean anything, which of course they don't, and no prizes or rewards are given like they would be in a race weekend. And that's certainly true. Like, the times here are not representative at all. You could probably read more into the number of laps than the actual lap times. So then we go down to Sauber, and Marcus Ericsson was in the car today. A 126.3 with 53 laps under his belt. He was also on soft tyres, so obviously in pre-season testing Pirelli bring all the tyres, so teams have a choice of the super soft, medium, winter hard is a special compound, intermediates and wets, of course, which were also used today when it started to rain. Sauber lost some time this morning when they were working on gearbox issues that plagued them yesterday as well, so quite a late start. So but not great mileage or time in what they could get done as well. Sebastian Vettel recovered then from his early off in the Ferrari to get fifth fastest on a 126.4, but that was on medium tyres. I should say that the kind of the reason for his spin earlier in the day was it was quite wet to start off with, and he was on dry tyres and kind of overestimated the grip he would have going into turn 5, and yeah, but no damage at all was done to the car, and it was able to get back out on track without much work. Then also good amount of laps as well by Sebastian Vettel. 105, they're up to 617 laps so far now, pre-season testing. More aero work for Ferrari, going out with the big sensor behind the front wheel to see where the airflow is going. And they're also on mediums like Mercedes, as I said. Then Red Bull and Daniel Kvyat is sixth fastest, just behind the Ferrari. 111 laps, which is very good also because they did great mileage the previous few days here, as they did have some issues in Jerez also. But Ricardo is saying that Renault was not where sort of he wants them or Red Bull wants them to be at this stage, and Renault are also wondering if they'll have a future in Formula 1. You may have seen there's an article on the official Formula 1 site and in Autosport and Eurosport as well, about Renault kind of not knowing and kind of wondering if they should kind of take a back step from Formula 1 with the new engine regulations. But a strong day for Red Bull anyway. Excellent amount of laps, and the time was on mediums as well, because they were doing a lot of long runs today, and they also completed a full race simulation without any hiccups at all. So certainly encouraging, and a fair amount of mileage done by the team. Williams then had both drivers out on the track today. Felipe Massa was out this morning, and then Bottas took over duties in the afternoon. The times, Williams, as I said, kind of their focus, kind of they know that they have a quick car. It's not going to be midfield. It will probably be in the top 3 to start the season anyway. But a good amount of laps by both the drivers today, bearing in mind they were only in for half the day each. So 104 laps in total, which was up there with the top amount of laps of the day. But their big focus for day 3 was pit stop practice. So Bottas in particular, he did 49 laps, but he only actually did 2 timed laps. So all the others were just an out lap and then straight back in to do pit stop practice. So they probably got fairly bored of that by the end of the day, but it's certainly an important part of testing, because that's the area where it's probably most frustrating to lose time and lose positions. So, and then 8th in between the Williams was Pascal Wehrlein of Force India, but he is the test and reserve driver for Mercedes on loan to Force India for this test, and he did a 27.3, so, and 81 laps. So laps, not too great, and time not too great again. But Force India are another team who really, really need to work hard for this season, because it's the 2014 car that they're using now in Barcelona, and they've said that the actual 2015 car might not be seen or run until Australia, so they might have to run the 2014 car again in the third test in Barcelona, which was a real problem at this stage. But they focused on long runs today, not focusing on speed too much, but also giving Pascal Wehrlein some mileage as well. And then we go down to McLaren. Jenson Button last, slowest today, and a shocking amount of laps, 24, only 180 done for McLaren in the whole of pre-season testing. And McLaren, it's pretty much a disaster now. for 2014. They thought, the Honda would be great. It has to be reliable because Hondas are reliable. It'll be fast. We'll win the championship. Loads of races. We have Alonso and Button. We have the most experienced lineup on the grid. But no. So you remember on Thursday the seal on the MG UK unit failed, and that sort of limited their running yesterday as well on day 2. So this morning Honda arrived with a new re-engineered seal for the component, but that failed again. So Honda have to go back to the drawing board. But they said a new part will be in Barcelona this evening. But I mean, I wonder if it'll fail again. So they ran today with limited running to with limited power to the MG UK to prevent more damage being done probably. But yeah, certainly, like, McLaren are nowhere near where they want or where they expected to be at this time. And Alonso says, like, we probably won't be ready for Australia, which, like, for a team like McLaren is shocking, really. Yeah, so they are probably one of the teams, along with Force India, that have to kind of really, really work hard now to get, well, to finish the Australian race will be the toughest part, and then from there it'll be an uphill battle. So yeah, that's it for day 3. Thanks very much for listening to the bit of analysis here, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final day of the second test. So stay tuned to HB Cars, and until then, goodbye.